However, there is also challenges because how does the value of the property be defined or the value? It is based on the demand of the property, it's based on the rental of the property. So in order to have high demand and high rental, that location has to be developed like that. So if you want to go into the third theory, you will understand what are the infrastructure that we build, what are the township planning, what are the concepts that come in. So there's also certain things that you buy into it and suddenly surrounding there's nothing to happen. But at the end of the day, one very successful township that you can find
Suram.
My question is, with ETF reaching 7 trillion AUM in US and Europe, is there still room for active fund managers in the capital markets? Why I ask this question is because, also for myself, I run a fund management company. Now, if an ETF is so good, it will replace me, so I won't have a job after this. So when I ask you, Mr. Ong, tell me, is there still room for us to exist?
Okay, yeah. Okay, of course I do not say that there's no room, right? So, okay, joke aside, in my view, there are always room for both active and passive strategy investment. The reason is very simple because not all the investors are happy with, only the market return. As what as what we have shared, ETF only track the market performance, right, on a particular index. But more often than not, there are many investors would like to outperform the market. So that is where the skill-based fund management, fund manager or fund, or we call active management that exists and will be here. Be it value investing strategy, or algo, or any other strategy. Like Han, he's a very good fund manager. Always outperform the market. So there are always investors that will look for this. So for me, it's just it's a preference for investors. And my advice also to many investors is that there is not necessarily that you must only choose to invest in active or passive only. You can combine this both, to build your portfolio. You can have, half of the what do you call passive investment or ETF, and you have another half in the active to outperform the market so that you can enjoy both of the world.
That's a very good answer. Thank you, Mr. Ong. Looks like I still have a job after this. Now, anyone here heard of ARK ETF? ARKK ETF? Raise your hand. Anyone invested there and lose money? Raise your hand, it's okay. Yeah? Okay, this question is directed at Faiz, okay? So, Faiz, how should an investor evaluate an ETF and not invest in something like ARK, which has lost 67% in 2022?
Okay, the interesting thing about ARK, people only remember when they lose money. Okay? They lose 60%, but they make 4 times already, right? 400% already, but they don't remember that. That's the thing with investment, right? So, I don't really think people should avoid such things like welcoming financial planners, welcoming more products that are available for our investors, because we know with the right tools and the right management skills and the right investment methodology, then it can help the investor to get a better return. But the issue here is that most of the investors, they do not have the literacy or enough knowledge to understand what's happening. For example, when we are talking about ARK, I wouldn't say anything specific about funds, right? So, for example, an ARK invests in a technology which they are not like normal ETF, where normal ETF are more focusing on the market performance, sentiment with that structure, right? So, for example, what happened in the US technology index, so it's go up very high, and then suddenly the interest rate is coming up, and it hurts the technology index. So that's what's happening for the ARK. So we are not blaming the ETF or the fund managers, but the investors need to understand what are the underlying assets and how they will impact with the market situation.
Thank you, Faiz, for a very good answer. And just to let you all know, I was doing a quick research. So in Malaysia, there's this thing called gold ETF, right? So if anyone has invested in a gold ETF that was listed, in the past 6 months, you would have made from $2.25 to $2.80. That is the real statistics. You can go back and have a look. That is a fantastic return in less than 6 months. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that necessarily global ETF is always better than local. But not many people have invested in a gold ETF, not knowing that Malaysia actually has a gold ETF listed in Bursa. Now, this question is for you, Mr. Shu. I would like to know, how do we safeguard and educate the average retail investors out there on some of the ETFs which have illiquid holdings on large stakes of stocks that are barely traded, that when the market downturn, it may be hit harder than the others? How do we teach them that?
Okay, thank you, Han. I think the key is always education. all investment, whether it's ETF, funds, gold, all have risks. So it is important for investors to be aware of the feature, the nature of the investment, and be aware of the risks before making the investment. So we strongly encourage investors to actually seek investment advice if they are unsure before making any investment. But coming back to specifically the question, where if an ETF have illiquid holding, a large illiquid holding, and hit by a market downturn, how the effect impact the investor? Well, if you look at from the perspective, if the investor actually invests directly in the illiquid stock, I think it would be a lot worse. And like what Mr. Ong mentioned just now, if you have actually invested in ETF, there will always be a market maker that will be there standing ready to sell or buy the ETF from you. Therefore, you can always have the ability to exit the ETF compared with other securities.
Yeah, so if I may, expand on, on Mr. Shu's point. Okay, so referring to your question, what will happen? How do we safeguard the investors that our fund, within the ETF fund, there are stocks inside the fund that is illiquid. So let me explain a little bit on this because as an issuer, we actually safeguard, we try to safeguard the investors from the very beginning at the point when we start to structure the whole ETF. When we structure an ETF, we will choose an index, right? So because an ETF is tracking an index, so we will study in very detail what is the constituents of the index, in which all the stocks, how does the index choose the stocks to be placed into the index. And one of the key criteria for a selection of stocks into index is liquidity. So meaning which we will only use the index whereby the constituents of the index or the component in the index are liquid stock. And this will be reviewed every 3 months. Any illiquid stocks will be excluded from the index and therefore will be excluded from the ETF. This is how we safeguard the investors to ensure that the liquidity of all the constituent stocks are liquid enough.
Thank you, Mr. Ong. Now, I have a question for the audience, right? Anyone here uses StashAway, Wahid or Accrue? Raise your hand. Don't be shy, it's okay. Okay, there are some people. So, I want to ask Faiz, for digital fund management companies like Accrue, Wahid, StashAway, the question is, are they ETF allocators or truly a digital fund management or stock pickers? What is your take on that from an investor point of view?
Okay, alright. When we're talking about this digital advisory, robo-advisory things, so they are actually taking your money and then put it in the ETF. So they have some methodologies or understanding, or for this kind of market situation, they may increase exposure in gold. For this kind of situation, they may increase the exposure in the US stocks, right? So, and I believe some of them are just focusing into one sector, right? So some of them are doing that. So the thing here is that these inventions are good to help investors who do not have time or do not have the enough knowledge to allocate for their investment strategies, right? But for more advanced traders and investors, you may do this by your own, right? Because if you know, okay, I have to put, let's say, 20% for gold and the rest I have to put in the US stocks, then you can do it by your own and enjoying a much lower fee compared to using the other services. But obviously, the services come with additional value. So if you do not have any time and you do not want to spend your time to learn something new, then you may use all these kind of inventions.
Very, very good answer. Thank you, Faiz. Now, Mr. Xu, I want to ask you, does Bursa have any incentive to promote ETF as an asset class for investors currently or maybe in the plans in future?
Yes, we do. In fact, in the last couple of years, we have run, I would say about 4 or 5 ETF cashback or ETF reward campaign. Some of you might have actually seen it on the social media platform. And we have actually provided incentive for investors to actually try out ETF in a small quantity. But what we want is for investors to actually take the opportunity to actually explore and learn about ETF. The incentive amount is not a lot, but we want that to be at least a door opener for you to actually explore the world. Currently, campaign. The first one is not called rewards. You get rewarded when you trade ETF. And the campaign period runs from 1st May till 31st October this year. And the lucky draw is trips to Langkawi, Bali, and Tokyo. The second one is a big draw.
Selamat petang. Saya nak tanya tentang IPO saya rasa before April or May you beli apa IPO jangan shoot sekarang dan you tutup mata you checking it you cut keyword tapi recently ada 3 IPO kan sekarang ini dah cocok-cocok anak 50% cocok hingga 38 sen. Tak semestinya kan? Tak semestinya.
Yeah. Okay, for me, okay, I punya opinion, I punya style, cikgu usaha style, not the Gangnam style, okay, not the Gangnam style, cikgu usaha style. I tengok dia punya business model. Business model. Sorry to say, this is off market pula, off record. DXN I don't want. Why? Because last time, for me is 70 cent is expensive for me. Dan DXN, semua DXN is main market. Main market, I takut sikit. I go for the cheap one. The S market one. Another is synergy because I tengok the jual berapa. Near my house also got jual furniture shop. So macam tak ada special tau. So for me, ini synergy jual furniture macam tak best punya company lah. So I don't think that sort of company shares.
I totally agree dengan Kak punya itu statement. Cikgu Saham punya statement. Kerana itu business model. Kalau I pun realize itu kalau itu saham ialah teknologi punya, growth punya, orang akan beli dengan high price. Tapi itu dia sendiri tahu jual amount, dia jual akan
just a reputation to show you the trend of development and urbanization. Right? So, all in all, back to basics. If you want to buy a property today, I can share you one that you can take home. Every time you want to buy a property, on the first later you go, right? You just have to make sure this is the sequence that you go for. And usually you won't go wrong. Number one, you look at the population in that location. What is the population like? What is the income level? Okay, and also the income level. And then also, because at the end of the day, right, a development, a property is being backed up by the population and the location. It's not the property itself. So understand the people there is important. Is there any factor that will bring in external population in that location? Yeah. So maybe internally that location already has certain people, but is there anything in that location that will attract people to come to that location for job opportunities and for entertainment? All that is a strong point. But look at the existing population first. Quality of the population also very important. Number two, accessibility and connectivity. So ask yourself, is that location easily accessible by highway, easily connected to important areas? The easier, the shorter the connectivity, the better it is. Because, example, if it's easier to connect from important places like CBD to this area, it will bring up population from there as well. Okay? Amenities. Now, people like convenience nowadays, especially the younger generation. And also, looking at a young nation demographic, you need to understand a property that you buy. Try to look into township, mixed development, where you doorstep. The lifestyle today is really fast. Young people, they like everything in the same area. Yeah. So amenities. Existing and future development. This is super important. This is like a safety net. You buy into the property, you want to ensure your surrounding, right? The property price is already quite stable. And then everything there is already quite matured. When you name the area, everyone knows that area. So that's a very mature, that's a safety net environment. And then you look into what are the future booster that will potentially boost up. So what we don't want is to just focus on future development. For sure it's good, but we do not know, right? So we want safe environment. And after you have all these tick points, the last one is the pricing. You want to ensure that you have a proper research on the market value in that location, and you don't buy into something that's higher in price. Unless you're saying that you're buying for luxury purpose, for your own, your own liking. That is very different. Another topic really. Now, so for investment, practicality, we look into pricing. Ideally, what we want is at least market value or lower. And if it's higher, what are the justification? All right? Okay? So I hope my short sharing here helps. Yeah. Again, risk management is really important. Personally, I do a lot of sharing and personal branding online, starting to, and I do a lot of videos describing some basic stuff. So if you want to learn more, you can actually follow Jen Tan channel. And also there's additional value that I'm giving where I am coming out. It haven't rolled out yet, but soon, where this is actually to help out rookies investment. Having said that, a lot of people may need that rookie knowledge. Yes, because my approach is always very conservative. These are some of the topics. Just now, whatever I mentioned is just surface. This one, I will go through it. At the end of the sixth module, you will be quite a savvy investor because property investment is just very fundamental, but fundamental has a lot too. And additional, I will also have a one-to-one coaching session if you need to, where we can assess your property portfolio and advise you. Yeah. So yeah, I hope this session helps. So you can connect to me. My social media is Jen Tan. Thank you so much.
All right, once again, ladies and gentlemen, give it up to Jen Tan. All right, Miss Jen Tan, don't go anywhere yet, okay? Because we have two watches to do on the research. Okay, demonstration. That was one of the things that was very wonderful on the side of the show. Right? So, supposedly you have your own team, your big house, looking for a restaurant, you can look for 10 times. And what do you do? You tell your people, right? You go, what? That's not okay. 10 times. You got two vouchers, A1 vouchers for 50 ringgit. So, you need the person to always. Alright, so the increase is very simple, guys.